Work-life balance. The origin of the idea of work-life balance. In the 1800s, during and following the Industrial Revolution, industrialists and unions alike agreed that workers needed a day off. This later became a 2-day weekend. But in those days work was mostly manual, and once workers left the site they also left their work behind. They were genuinely able to rest away from work without having to think about it or worry about what might be going on in their absence. Times have changed dramatically. The phrase work-life balance is rather more recent in origin. It was probably first used in the UK in the late 1970s and in the US in the mid-1980s. It has, however, taken on a new meaning with the recent technological changes that have made it possible for workers to stay in touch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Smartphones, remote working technology and the like have meant that, even on holiday, people find it hard to switch off and genuinely rest, and the complaint is often that people are expected to be on call at all times, without being allowed to have a life outside work. A brief history of work-life balance. It's the late stages of the Industrial Revolution and people are overworked. In the United Kingdom it's common for the average worker to work 14 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. These long hours had social and health costs, especially for young children who were also working. Labor reformers drew attention to this until the United Kingdom agreed to fewer hours for women and children. Around the same time, the US begins tracking the hours worked by its workers and discovers that, on average, its workers performed more than 100 hours a week. These hours work posed serious health and safety risks for the entire country. On October 24, 1940, after decades of worker movements, the U.S. officially amends the Fair Labor Standards Act and adopts the 40-hour work week. This was the first move in giving workers back more time. The actual term work-life balance first appears in the UK in the 80s as a plank in the women's liberation movement. The movement advocated for flexible schedules and maternity leave for women. But while men were socially unencumbered to pursue their career goals without worrying about housekeeping and family raising, working women were expected to work and maintain responsibility for housekeeping and family rearing. In the 80s, a frequent refrain pointed out this obvious work-life imbalance, asking, could women in the workplace really have it all? Despite voicing these needs, women experienced little relief or movement towards work-life balance. Stay tuned. Happy learning.